Hello everyone, finally we're getting to my May pickup videos. Yes, videos as in plural because I got such a big load in the month of May, including a nice big box full of loot from Big Bad Toy Store that I have to split it up into multiple videos. And obviously, we're going to start with what seemed like forever to come out, the GreymanX6 6-inch scale-ish version of Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. Not only did it seem to take forever after this figure was announced, but just getting a 6-inch scale one period. And that's kind of why I have Squall from Final Fantasy VIII out. Because back in the day when Bandai was making these things, making some Final Fantasy related stuff, there was some Final Fantasy VII figures, but they were called Extra Knights, and they were even a shorter scale than this. Then for not only 8 afterwards, but 9 and 10, there were some that were in like the 5-inch, 5.5-inch range. But after the turn of the millennium and a lot of things went to 6-inch, especially in America after Toy Biz started doing that for the X-Men movies and Spider-Man movies and Marvel Legends, it seemed to just... no one seemed to want to make good 6-inch figures out of one of the most popular and influential RPGs ever. It's also why I have this out. Yep, I still have it. Even have the black label version. I only have the green greatest hits one for Final Fantasy VIII. Well, now GreymanX likes to do stuff for all of Square and Enix's properties, and they've come out with so much stuff, like a lot of Dragon Quest games, including Dragon Quest XI, Final Fantasy IX even, Final Fantasy Tactics. But only now are they getting to the one game that seems to be the one that most people would have been clamoring for. Especially now that we have the Final Fantasy remakes coming out. But enough chitter-chatter. Let's get on with it. I already opened this up previously just to make sure there wasn't anything wrong with the figure. And... well, here he is. Still in the packaging, sort of. Okay, let's compare. Okay, Squall I think is supposed to be a little bit taller, especially in the Dissidia PSP games, but he's kind of got his legs bent, so all in all, this will scale well with the Final Fantasy VIII characters I have. Okay, no tape. It's mostly stands and stuff back there. Oh! Wow, we're off to a... we're keeping this organized. And I got some plastic I gotta remove. At least it's not under a teenage girl's skirt like in so many of the Figma stuff. Alright, come on. There we go. Alright. Let's get right to poseability. Keep things moving. Okay, got a ball joint, you can go all around, good tilt. Can't really look up. A little better looking down, and... ooh, spiky hair is spiky. Yeah, Cloud and Final Fantasy VII started the whole trend of spiky haired dudes, and... still got the master right here. Let's look at the arm articulation. It's a little stiff on the elbows. We got this sort of double ball joint in there. It's stiff, but it works. Usual sort of elbow articulation in joints we see in a lot of these import figures. Yeah, speaking of which, how much did this cost? Just go look it up on Big Bad Toy Store. Yeah. Unlike the Final Fantasy VIII ones, which I was able to score used on eBay. Well, except for Selfie Toman, I got that back in the day, back in 2001, in the package. All the others I got used. I don't think I'll be getting the full cast of FF7, because that is mucho expensivo, and go ahead and hate me now, but Final Fantasy VIII is actually my favorite, with Final Fantasy V being the runner-up and my favorite of the old school bunch. Oh yeah, articulation. Got a ball joint on the hip. Sorry, not showing it well. Very good rotation in the wrist joint. Pretty much the same over here, and they got it so the shoulder pad doesn't really hinder articulation. Also very stiff here, but we got a nice ab crunch. Can hunch all the way that way, but not much back. Whoa, with the hips. He can arch back plenty. Never mind, so that makes up for it. It doesn't seem to have a waist... Oh, he does have a bit of a waist swivel. It's also very tight. And kind of a double waist swivel right here. Okay. This is a lot stiffer than I thought. Maybe I'm just thinking in terms of Max Factory Figma and SH Figuarts. Theirs are kind of more loosey-goosey and lend themselves better to wild articulation. Okay, it's a single-jointed knee, but we get, what would that be? 135-degree bend. Very nice. We got some... Oh! I spoke too soon. Very loose in there. Okay, as gross as this is, while we're out, we'll just use this to look at the rest of the articulation of the leg. No boot swivel, but we do have a ball rocker. It doesn't really pivot like you'd expect a Marvel Legends to, but... Alright. Let's get this thing back in there. Usually these will... Okay, there we go. But what is Cloud Strife without his Buster Sword? So before we get to that, let's... Really? Let's look at his hands. Okay, we got a pair of grabby hands, and we got a pair of weapon-holding hands. Let's just use... Yes. I'm too used to Marvel Legends. It shows. Even after all the SH Figuarts and Max Factory Figma things I do, I keep expecting the swapped-out hands to work like Marvel Legends. Goes in there fine. Let's get him in that famous pose. Oh, sword, I'm looking at the box right here. Okay, this is pretty close. Get forward a little. Put that back in frame. Put his gunblade back in. So yeah, they're ready to do some tag team madness in Dissidia or something, I don't know. Let's zoom it in a little. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Like I said, they're both at the same height, but Squall's kind of kneeling, so at the end of the day, it scales perfectly. Alright, quick shot of Cloud Strife together with all the aforementioned Final Fantasy VIII figures I got from a long time ago, and scaled okay with Squall, but now that I'm looking at it, they don't really scale well with each other. I mean, Irvy's supposed to be the tallest, but he's pretty much the same as Selphie, who's the shortest. Oh well, but even if Bring Arts finally gets to FF8, I'm probably not going to get them all, because, again, they're really expensive. As for why I have all the FF8 ones in the first place, well, there's no denying the impact of FF7. I remember seeing it for the first time when a friend showed it to me on his PlayStation, but after that, when I started getting into more and more JRPGs and finally into the Final Fantasy series itself, it was... 8 stood out more because it tried to break the JRPG mold more, tried to do things differently, and that had more of a profound effect on me. Then again, it's been over 20 years since I've gone through both, so maybe both of them need another replay. And now, going outside the realms of Final Fantasy, here we have Cloud with some of his Smash mates, and some who should be, like Master Chief if Banjo and Kazooie can get in. This is the old Joyride version of him from the original game. And speaking of Joyride, that clunky, oversized version of Samus Aran they put out, I haven't bothered to get the Metroid Dread Figma. In fact, I did have the Metroid Other M Figma, but I sold it off. The original McFarlane version of MGS2 Solid Snake, the 5-inch poseable version of Sonic to go with Sonic Colors, the Nendoroid for Shovel Knight, just the Popco barely poseable thing of Mario, and the 4-inch Nelnet version of Mega Man. Didn't get that Jada one yet, or the one for Chun-Li. This is the Chun-Li from SH Figuarts. Since I had mentioned that company before, and a Max Factory Figma of Princess Zelda. Unsurprisingly, these import ones scale much better with Cloud, but even though they share a lot of similarities, I do like these two more. I mean, they just feel better in hand, more supple, and they have a bit more tricks, like Chun-Li has toe articulation, whatever. But does that mean this thing was terribly overpriced? I got Chun-Li for $50 at a Toys R Us, Zelda for $70 at a Best Buy. Is it worth it paying all the import fees and shit to get this online? I don't know. The posability, it just seems tighter and just less... It just doesn't feel as fluid in hand as like a Figma or a Max Factory. But after all these years, we finally got it. We finally got a 6-inch scale version of Cloud Strife, one of the most popular RPG protagonists in history, and perhaps the most important. So if anything else, after all these years, after almost well over a quarter century now, we finally got the goods. So let's take another up-close look. Yep, got the spiky hair, got those deep sapphire eyes you can get lost in, and many a fangirl have. You got like wear and tear showed on the OG Buster sword he starts out with. Zippers on the boots are painted. Maybe there's a bit of wash and paint detail on the boots. I'm not really seeing it. I definitely see some fading and whatnot up here on the pants. Yeah. Is this $130 worth? Probably not. But I went ahead and snagged it because I knew, well, I figured that it would soon be sold out and I'd have to pay an even bigger price on the aftermarket. Yuffie, from what I've seen, is already sold out on Big Bad Toy Store, and she's not due out till the beginning of next year. So, all in all, maybe it's best that I did snag Cloud. And if you really want a Cloud Strife in this scale for your collection, you could do a whole lot worse.